Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene. Another video from Exit Strategy. I'm trying something different, new position. I'm in somewhat of a director's type stool. It sits a little higher, and just better angle. Getting ready for bed, but I want to talk about the narcissist hates the way you move. The narcissists hate the way you move. They hate you when you walk in the building. Not even knowing you, your name, any background information about you, because the aura you have when you walk in the room. I've experienced this early on in my life before I was ever aware of a narcissist. Looking back at these instances before I became awakened and aware of who my true self really is, my authentic self, which is in the works as we speak. You know, you begin to redevelop yourself and begin to introspect and look at who you are as a human being, notwithstanding who you're around, who you're associated with, the clientele, the friendship circles. You just begin to build upon you, yourself, as an individual. So back when I experienced this in my youth, I always had an intuition, was able to read energy, and I now know that that is a gift from God. And also we know narcissists can read energy too, because we're all vibration. We're all vibration. Every human being on the earth is vibration. So I didn't understand what narcissism was, personality disorder was. I just could understand that the person didn't like me for some reason or another. And what I believe often before we become to an awareness of self, and as well as narcissists, and knowing that these individuals are deliberately hateful, before we come to that realization, looking back at your life before you didn't understand why people stared, why you felt a funny feeling in the room. You didn't understand it as narcissists, but the intuition you had was so on point. You began to internalize it, and you began to try to search for excuses and answers as to why the person looked at you that way, or why you felt their body language or their facial expression did a certain thing. So you find yourself, for example, like, what I did, that would be the first thing you would say to yourself in your subconsciousness. What did I do? And what you begin to do is flight or fight. So, and then there's also an element, I believe, as when you realize you're codependent, you just want to make that thing right. You don't want people to be mean or mad at you. So you right way attempt to try to make that situation better by either making that person like you, going out of your way to appease that person, doing something extra for them, singling them out, and doing a favoritism type thing. A number of different things that you could do as a coping mechanism to deal with that thing that dissatisfied you, and also you perceive dissatisfied them. But again, you don't even know what you actually did to make that person feel that way. All you know is your intuition is not lying to you, and you have a keen intuition. So you go on damage control is what I'm actually saying. So now back to being on perspective of the narcissist hates the way you move. They like you and they hate you all at the same time. They don't understand one over the other. They just know sometimes they like you and sometimes they hate you. It's almost like, I don't even know what kind of example I would even give you to form an analogy with that. Um, they're dysregulated. And to put that in context for someone who really knows it by definition but can't grasp it, I'll try to attempt to do that. That means they can never feel anything on a constant basis because they lack what you call object constancy. In essence, they can't pay attention. Their train of thought is mush. Their train of thought is straight mush, is garbage. And that's when you're talking to them, this is how you're known. This is how it looks. They'll be sitting here like I'm sitting, attentive to what you're saying, but they are looking around and they're constantly. I hear you though. I hear you though. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, and yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And if you was to ask them, what did I just say? They could not tell you to save their life. They're not interested in what you're saying. Even if it was something that they were interested in that fits their purpose and their goal, their self-absorbed goal, they, even then, they would not stay concentrated on that thing. They would say, you want to go get some pizza? Or you want to go get something to eat? And you say, yeah, okay, let's go get some pizza. And then, or whatever you want to do. And they'll throw it back to you. No, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. And when you finally decide, you say, oh, we can go get some pizza. Then they want to do oppositional defiant. Or we can go get a burger. And you've given them ample opportunity to choose. Especially if you're a man, you're trying to be a gentleman. These narcissistic female, they don't even know how to be a lady. They don't understand the concept of when a man is being a gentleman because they're like a child. You imagine telling Johnny or little Susan at 3 years old, let's go get some ice cream? And you talking to them all while you're on the way to the ice cream shop, and you say, well, what kind you want? You have to decide now before we get there. And one would say vanilla and one would say strawberry. And when you get to the window, they not only have changed their mind, but they want a whole bunch of other things on top of just a regular ice cream. And when they get there and they lick on the thing once or twice, they'll hand it back to mommy like, I don't like this. That's exactly how a narcissist behaves. They lack object constancy. So back to what I mean by narcissists hate the way you move, because you have object constancy. You're able to concentrate. You're able to form an opinion. You're able to form a conversation and stick to it. You may veer off topic here or there, but it'll tie back into the whole conversation. It'll always have context. And because of you being able to have a contextual conversation, they hate you for that. So they hate the way you move. They hate the fact that you can walk in a room and you can sit down and you can casually observe. When they're rubbernecking and they can't even focus. They're even looking down at their phone, looking around to see who's looking at them on their phone while they're checking on the supplies that they got going on. Can you imagine 24/7, all while you're awake, at least? You cannot make a solid decision and stick to it. It's almost like, I wouldn't say schizophrenia. It's almost like it is multiple personality disorder. I remember a movie one time with Richard Pryor in it, and I think it was, he played Church Lady in Saturday Night Live, Dana Carvey. He essentially was this guy had 20 or 21 personality. It's called Moving, I believe. It's a throwback. You guys should check that out. This guy has so many personalities, and he played these roles like it was the acting was impeccable. Um, so using that as an example, even though Dana Carvey was acting out, and he didn't do this in front of Richard Pryor. Actually, I think a couple times he pretended to be a different person, but at first Richard Pryor didn't catch on. But at the end, actually Richard Pryor, I believe, was dismissive of a couple occasions when Dana Carvey went into his little alter egos or his different personalities. He kind of just dismissed it off, and at the end, it all made sense that this guy could not concentrate on one particular behavior because he had a whole bunch of people going on in his head. A narcissist does not have a personality of their own. This is why they lack object constancy. They have not formed a true self. They've ran around most of their life from childhood adopting characters or adopting personas off of other people, off of their friends. And everybody, as you're growing up, you adopt personas, behaviors, ways of doing things from other people, the environment, and whatnot. This is what happens to form a whole person with a personality. You may have multiple attributes acquired from the environment or things from without you, like outside of you, whether it's people, places, and things, in your own personal experience. So you've done the thing, and now you know it works, so you continue to do that thing. You have abilities of your own. You have creative abilities. You can create something. You can appreciate something, really appreciate something. You don't just, it's not just lip service. You can say, man, I really do appreciate walking through the park. I really did appreciate, you know, us going out for ice cream. I really did appreciate you doing that thing for me, or taking the trash out for me. Little things. We're genuinely appreciative. The narcissist rarely will appreciate you unless they're trying to get something from you. So in essence, that's why they hate the way you move. Because the way you move is authentic. And they're phony and they're fake. So I'm breaking this down in a way where we don't think of it in this super over the top way. It's very simplistic when you look at the way the narcissists behave. And let me show you a way they move on reactions from you. I just want to add before I end this video on how I am beginning to regulate my emotions as a result of interacting and running into either former narcissists from former relations, or present narcissists, even future narcissists who I'm yet to run into. These are things that I do at home, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I'm sharing it with you guys. This is my cell phone case, and I'm just going to use this as an example. It could be anything. As you're watching TV, I know you guys can relate and remember the fidget spinner, but we're not going to do that. This is not what we're doing to calm our nerves as you would with a fidget spinner. What you're going to do, and in essence, you are calming your nerves, but you're doing it in a very relaxed, unimpulsive way. The fidget spinner was kind of like you would spin this thing, and it was so annoying, man. I was so glad that thing went away. I don't even know if a narcissist, did they make that for a narcissist? I don't even know. That's probably why I lost it. it lost its appeal because the narcissist probably threw it away or invented it and went on to something else. So anyway, you basically would take something and just hold it and just do something very slow and just see if you could slow it down, almost like the Matrix. You just basically, let's say, one hand to the other, and you ask, why are you doing that? Doesn't make any sense. When encountering a narcissist, say you run across a narcissist that has caused you harm in the past, and it's a very uncomfortable situation just being in the same room with them, what you will do without making yourself obvious, you will basically, actually, you wouldn't have it out like this, or you would, but you'd be very discreet with it. You would actually maybe clutch this with two hands. Even that will cause you to be able to regulate your emotion, because what you're doing, you're channeling all of your anxieties, you're channeling all of your hostilities or your anger and your resentments, which we do have some resentments as we work through trying to forgive that narcissist for our own benefit, obviously, so we can continue to work through our life and get the best out of life. But you can do this stuff, and this will actually bring you right back to ground zero. Feet planted back on the ground. As you were about to take off, steam was blowing out of your head and out of your nostrils because you was about to take off like a space shuttle because they got you so heated. But some people say count backwards from 10, 9, 8, 7. Narc Chronicles, Jesse suggests do a breathing exercise. Hold it for 5 seconds. Slowly exhale without looking obvious. These are things you can do. Put the narcissist to sleep because they live for reactions. When you see them and they catch you off guard, act as though it never even mattered, them coming into your presence. Wing it. You have to wing it. Because if they know that they're relevant, they know that they got leverage still. They know that they matter in your life. And we're here to tell you guys, people that matter don't mind what they hear about you. And people that mind what they hear about you, they don't matter. And I'm ending with that because it doesn't matter what the narcissists say. If the narcissist doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter what they say. That being said, bless.